Jackie is going to be sharing all this, so we'll be able to chat and
hi,
converse.
YouTubes.
Huh?
I said hi, YouTubes.
So, one sec, we're almost there. Seconds away from this happening. Here we go. Hey everybody.
Hey.
We're back.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Man. And thanks to everyone that tuned in on Saturday. I really appreciate that. That was a ton of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Man.
Slight blur, but lots of fun.
yeah, that was really different. So we did an art sitting on Saturday, and it's very different. And if we stream that again, which I'd really like to, we'll do it in a different sort of way. So last Saturday, we just sort of had it going. We chatted every once in a while, but it's because we haven't done a sitting like that in a long time. So, so...
I think part of it was like just the excitement to like get out of, to like get back with people, and then the creative process was really nice.
Yeah, and for the stream, I just wanted everyone to be able to be a fly on the wall, really, and since it was our first one, I didn't figure people who were tuning in, I didn't figure people would be asking for like the models to get into different poses and stuff, but moving forward though, in the future, we're going to do more of a structured kind of sitting. So we'll do it on a stream. So here in the studio, I'll have a longer sitting that's not going on. The whole thing won't be on the stream, but on the stream it'll be more structured. So there'll be like some poses, and people can ask questions, or and we'll be able to chat.
Yeah.
And all that. So that'll be cool. That'll be the fun thing, because we'll have a sitting for everyone where we can actually chat, and then in any kind of the setting. But they just couldn't come that night. They were two of them were out of town, and one of them, I forget what it was. But so yeah, we'll definitely do that, and that'll be fun. But tonight though, I'm really excited because from that sitting, I have a piece that I'm working on, and it's still a work in progress, but I want to show it to you guys. It's not always a good idea to show a painting that you're working on, but because it's hard for people to tell where it's going, and I'm a little, I don't know, I feel a little trepidation because I know the model for this is going to be watching, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want you to see it till it's done, but but I want to show it. But one of the big things though is I want to go over how I do a sitting without being able to see, like the technology that I use, because there's some technology that I use that really helps, but also the techniques that I use during the sitting. So I didn't do any prep work. I didn't talk to you guys saying about how I do a sitting, this and that. And during the sitting, I was like, I'll tell you guys on Tuesday. So I want to go through all that. So I hope you guys find that interesting. But there's a way to do a sitting where you're using touch and you're able to visualize that. And it's definitely something you have to learn, but it's not hard. It's not difficult. But it's also something that I've taught other professional artists that are sighted, and a couple, and they really like it. I mean, like, it really helps, because your ability to remember what it is that you're going to paint through touch it goes into so much of your brain that it makes it really easy to remember. And if somebody is using those techniques coupled with sight, then golly, I mean, you're never going to forget what that person's face like,
Yeah, I always thought it was interesting.
Faces like.
I always thought it was interesting when, you'd go to like a lot of different college classes and give talks and stuff, and you'd always like notice that the statues were all dusty and everything, and it's such a different experience when you go in and you actually like feel what you're gonna draw. You get your hands on it, and you have this sort of visceral connection with it. So I think that definitely like adds to your art quite a bit.
So glad that you mentioned that. That's great.
Well, my mom joins us, says hi guys. That
Hey.
sounds great, talking about the future sittings. And Nancy has joined us, says hey, and Ron says hi guys.
Well, hey guys, thanks so much for joining. I'm so glad you mentioned it, because we do workshops at colleges and lessons or talks all that fun stuff. But you would think of artists being like these out-of-the-box thinkers, and yet you go into a drawing room where they have all these statues and different poses, and they're all really dusty because everyone just files in, they sit across the room, and then they just start sketching, and nobody goes up and talks. Nobody goes up and touches the statue. So, or you could talk to the statue too if you want, but nobody goes up and really touches it, and which kind of makes sense. You think it's a visual art, but another part of it, the more of yourself you put into art, the more you get out, and your hands are really, really good at being able to tell shape and distance. Your eyes aren't that good at that, and that's why you see in those drawing classes, people working to sketch an ear for an hour. Because like their eyes can see there's an ear, and they can see movement really well. Like eyes are great for that, but when it comes to shape, like the crazy shape in an ear, the crazy shape of your hands, that's always the hardest, and that's really hard to judge using an eye. But if you're using your sense of touch, shape, little angles, contours, and distance is actually what your hands are made to feel, which is, if you think about it from like a primitive caveman sort of time from evolution, that if you're working with some sticks and stuff and you're a flint and you're trying to shape it, you're trying to nap it to get that perfect shape, you're constantly looking around, you're gazing around to make sure you're not going to be eaten by something. So you're using your sense of touch to be able to feel all that work you're doing. If you take it to modern day, look at a game controller. Back in my day, it was a Nintendo, and you had 2 buttons and a little like paddle plus sign like thing, and that's all you had. You don't have to worry about much, and you want to pause it, you just go right to that start button and boop, Now, like my son's controllers, they have toggles and triggers and switches and 2 different joysticks on it and all this other stuff. And then he's wearing a VR headset with all these other things, other buttons and stuff on it.
You definitely don't see your controller then.
Yeah, and you're, with a video game like that, he's not looking at his hands, he's looking at the screen. You can feel where that is, or remote control. You want to, somebody gives you a call on the phone and you need to mute the TV. A lot of times you just reach out and find it with your hand and you hit the mute button and somebody's not even looking at it. You can visualize. Or a car, there's, a car like you put it in a park, if you got a manual and you're changing the gears, or maybe you're hitting the buttons on the radio, you're not necessarily looking at that stuff. There's a million different things we do in our life. We're chopping, we're cooking, we're doing things in the kitchen, all this stuff that we're using our hands to visualize with, and we never give it any thought. Well, those techniques, there's techniques when you're visually impaired that you can use to spatially orient, to help yourself cross an entire city. You can use these techniques to be able to get across a canvas or somebody's face. And there's art techniques, which some of the best ones that whenever I was first starting to do all this, some of the best techniques that I learned was actually from cartooning. And especially when it came to if you're gonna draw what's it called when you have like a comic of you're drawing a person's face, but you're making it look different, and it's like if you went to Six Flags, there might be an artist caricature.
Yeah.
It's caricature. That's it. I couldn't think. My mind went blank. But the techniques for that though, because you're going from an actual face, and you need to be able to do it really quickly, and yet it has to be kind of precise. So combining that with O&M and some old painting techniques, that's what I use to be able to do a setting. So I take these techniques that you would to be able to break down a painting or a picture of something, but I do that with a person's face. And so I want to show you how to do that. It sounds complicated. It's not that crazy. Plus there's some software that I use. But I
want to say really fast, Barbara Brancis joined us, says hi.
Barbara, hey.
Yay. We've got some things to show. And Robin joins us. Hey.
Hey, Robin.
Says hello, loves. And Nancy Crouch has joined us and says, hi, the turtle arrived safely and it was just clear coated. Looks great. No damage during travel.
Oh, yay.
Yay.
I've been wondering about that. Oh, my goodness.
And then she said,
I haven't asked you about it because I figured, if you knew, you would tell me, and if it's bad news, don't tell me.
Yeah, I would have said something. No, and then she said, you're so inspiring. So
who did?
Nancy Crouch said, you're so inspiring.
Oh, Nancy. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad it arrived. I mean, it was intensely wrapped, so I felt pretty good about it, but still, it's just good to hear that and I'm excited to see the finished photos, because we were applying for something yesterday, and I was gathering all of John's portfolio stuff and putting it in a specific application document, and I had to go online to get like the info for the turtle stuff, and they had a big website with all like the other turtles, that fancy photos of them all clear coded, and I was like, ooh, I can't wait to see what the turtle looks like clear coded. So
yeah, me too.
And I know we need to send Nancy all of our footage from filming it and taking our pictures. So.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sorry, and I apologize. And for anything like we things have been so crazy around the studio. It seems like we've been trying to get I don't know. It's been good. Like, it's been really good, but it's that part of the year where things start to heat up a little bit because they're getting close to fall. And now with COVID, I mean, hopefully things will stay opened up and everybody's safe and healthy. But that's made it where it's a little nutty too. So it's good. It's a good nutty. Yeah.
Well, my mom says, I can't wait to see the turtle when I go to Ormond by the sea, and I want to go with you. And Nancy said they were impressed on how it was packed. I'll send you photos once the photographer has done it. So.
Oh, thank you. Gosh,
Misty Lemons has joined us and is waving hello. So.
Hey. Oh, I love your story, by the way. That I read. And
so, are you going to show the
painting? I am. But let's show some photos really quick.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Because so we did a sitting, and I want to tell you guys how to do it. And one of the reasons I want to talk about how to do the sitting and stuff, how the way I do it, is because I don't know of anybody else that does it that way. I mean, I came up with it, but I mean, I know other. So I mean, I don't want to make it sound like, I don't know, like I the things I came up with, I was learning from other people. I just put it together because it's my way of doing it, and other people will probably find better ways. But here's the sitting though. Let's what am I doing? Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Okay, so we did a sitting, and I just want to thank everybody that came here, everybody that tuned in, but everybody that actually came to the studio. I've been wanting to do a live sitting for so long. It has been so long, and
it's been a while. I mean, that wasn't like a commissioned person coming over to do a portrait. It's been a while.
Yeah, and the big part of my art was that I use real people, and with COVID, it's you don't want to be around it. You don't want to be feeling real people's faces and all that. So we were real safe. But I mean, anyway, so this was just thank you guys. So
okay, so look, can I?
Oh, yes, please, because I have no idea.
Okay. I gave John some of the photos.
Jackie put the photos together. I don't know what they are.
Okay, so this is, let me first say that this is Barbara Brand's photo.
Barbara, yes.
So, I just had to grab it. Barbara, I hope that's okay. I know you edited it and you uploaded it to the damn group, so I wanted to throw it up there. Right now, it's my favorite that came from the sitting. So it's the window is hung, and Shirley is sitting in the Archie chair, as I like to call it, and sipping a martini in all her awesomeness. So, and she looks beautiful, of course, and everything. And Barbara just grabbed a fantastic shot, and the tonal quality in the shot, I think, is what grabbed me. Is I just love it. I love it.
Ooh, nice.
So I mean, I really want you to paint it.
Yeah, and if I could jump in, I just want to say, Barbara Brands, she's an amazing photographer. She's a professional photographer, and if anybody like in the North Texas area, I mean, she is so nice and so easy to be around, but. Her creativity is just off the chart. Like, she just had so many ideas and working with different things, and it's just incredible. So I mean, I don't know, it made the experience so much more creative. Her just being here, and just seeing her work was incredible.
Yeah,
and Shirley and Chevy both. Oh my goodness! I mean,
awesome. I mean, they're like professionals.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they are, but I don't know. It's really hard to model, to pose. I mean, every once in a while, somebody I was in a Chinese romantic comedy, believe it or not, and I've done some little like if we're doing a thing, like if a news crew comes over, they're like, hey, do this or say this 3 times, or or just pretend like you're painting over here, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do. I can't, I don't. They're like. smile. Okay, stop smiling. You know, I can't do it. It's really, really hard. And then to see someone like Chevy and Shirley who come in, and it's so just amazing. And it's just, I don't know, it's really cool because painting is my art, but it's so fun to be around photographers and models and people that express themselves in different types of art. You know, and that just inspires your own creativity. So anyway, let me move on to another picture.
Oh, and Barbara said, you make me blush.
Oh.
So, okay, this was a photo I grabbed. I thought it was fun because it's Shirley, and she's in front of the window that we hung, and she's, like, looking over her shoulder, kind of like in, like, surprise, and Chevy is on the other side of the window tipping his hat and peering in, like. So I just thought that was kind of a fun, like, oh, who's this looking at me through the window? Because I know that was one of the things.
I bet that would make a really good painting.
Yeah.
That sort of composition.
I mean, she looks a bit, like, unnerved.
Well, that's good though. It's like rear window sort of thing going on. You know, I mean, you know, not all paintings have to be happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, no. So that was fun. Okay, so this is when we were like, this is, John, you're feeling Chevy when Chevy's in one of the positions. So.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, cool. So, okay, here's the thing, guys. Part of the thing, like the sitting that we did the other night, we're able to go a little fast through different sittings, and that's because I did the prep work before. So the costumes and stuff that we had, like the dresses, I went ahead and felt them. Like I knew the costumes before anybody ever put them on. So I knew what they felt like. And like the costume that Shirley was wearing had a lot of beads and different decorations. And plus we have the costume so I can go back and reference. But in Chevy, the suit that the Chevy was wearing, like I was able to feel that and everything. The Tommy gun, all this sort of stuff. So going in, and plus I know Chevy and Shirley, we've been friends for a long time, so I know what they look like. So whenever it comes to the sitting, especially the few poses that I had in my mind, that was nice because I already had all this work done. So I just had to feel the reality of it. So I was just feeling for like elbows, you know, elbows, knees, like which way's the head, all that, because I knew what their face is like. Feel a little bit, make sure. But you know, just see which way everything is articulated. So that helped things move along a lot faster. Whenever like Chevy and Shirley or Barbara or Clarice or someone like would have or Jackie would have to have the models like move in a different way, then I'd be like, okay, what are you guys doing now? You know, because I would know, like I didn't already have that in my head, so it would take a little bit longer for me. But it really helped working with people that already knew what they looked like. So that really helps. But what am I doing in this photo?
So Chevy is standing in front of the mirror and with the Tommy gun, and you're feeling Chevy's elbow. So pretty much what you just described.
Okay, the most important thing, do I look fat in the photo?
No.
Okay, yeah, that's the most important thing.
No.
Can you see my butt? No, does my butt look big? Okay, so...
Well,
okay.
let me say, Robin says, we are both over here with tears of joy. You are both amazing. Thank you for your kind, amazing words.
I'm so nervous for you guys.
Oh.
Okay, listen, this painting isn't done. I'm really nervous for you guys to see it. It's funny. So, but, you know, that's life.
And Jana has joined us and says, hi, Barbara. And then my mom said, funny. You're a funny guy. You're a funny guy over there.
What's this one?
So this one is Shirley sitting in the chair, and she's holding on to the martini glass out in front of her.
Okay.
And you were feeling kind of her arm in the martini glass. So I think this was like the photo that I grabbed for this, for I guess you to later paint, was the foreshortened glass with the cigarette holder and everything. So you were like feeling that, and then you were like, Jackie, grab the shot. So that's that moment.
That's really cool. Okay, yeah, that's great. So, yeah, I remember this part really well because Shirley had the idea of balancing the martini glass up on her knee, and then she had the fake cigarette holder and all, or the whatever that thing's called, and which is really cool. Like there's just, I don't know, it's one of the nice things about working with different people that understand angles and all that.
Yeah.
And like Shirley was always looking for really interesting angles and stuff, and which is awesome. That's one of the things. If I'm painting people, especially if it's figurative, you know, the angles are really, really important. So anyway, that's okay. month. And what like.
Oh, so this was just, I threw this in there because this was just like a far back shot of like I grabbed at the studio when Chevy was just kind of, it was towards the end of the night and Chevy was just sitting there like chilling because, man, Chevy was just doing it up.
And I felt so bad for Chevy too because she's wearing like a tuxedo and all, you know, and it's so hot and,
good.
And yeah. You made but I felt so bad. I was trying to find a fan to blow up Chevy because he was like, oh.
And Barbara's in the foreground taking pictures, so I thought that was fun because it was just the energy in the room was really cool, and Clarice was floating around, and I'm excited to see what photos she has when she uploads them. So
yeah. The other person was Clarice that was taking photos here, and but she's editing them this week, so hopefully we'll have some stuff to show from her. But she was running all around, and that was awesome. But so that was the sitting, guys. Let me show you what I've been working on, and then I may go over and join Jackie over there to show you, to talk about the touch, how I touch and all
I didn't know this was getting that crazy. All right.
Yeah, it's getting crazy. Okay. Gosh, I'm so nervous to show you guys this.
Oh my gosh!
I know we do art all the time. So I mean, but it's because it's the way I feel every time, like I do a commission or something, and we send the image to somebody, or if I'm working with someone and I got their. But let me preface this this painting right here that I'm working on. This is of Chevy, and one of the really great things about Chevy, one of the really was that he can really
play the role.
Yeah, play the role. So this is like a gangster, but this is so different than the way like Chevy's normal. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like Chevy's so nice and so funny and fun and all that. But it was like, gosh, man, you really I wouldn't want to be like in the 1920s run into you and owe you money or something. So anyway, okay. Without further ado, here's what I'm working on. It's not done, okay?
It's not done.
So this is what I'm working on right now. So I still have work to do. A lot of work on the nose, the hand, the face, the chin. Really, everything needs more work. But this is where it is. But here's what I really loved about this, is the expression on the face, because it's just grim. It's like this. It's very serious. Now in the eyes, because this is going to go in the reflection series that'll be in Frisco in a number of weeks. In the sunglasses, I had them first. I had them all painted black, and I have a video. I'm videoing the entire painting of this thing. Yeah, so you can see it changing through the whole time, like the gun change, everything kind of changes throughout this. But reflected though is like a flapper that's dancing in sort of a silhouette, and this kind of goes in with Shirley, because Shirley was wearing sort of the flapper outfit. But I wanted to have that reflection because with the gray background of this, like you have like a mobster sort of person. They have the Tommy gun, and you don't really have any idea about what's going on. You've got the expression on the face, which is super serious, which I really, really love, because Chevy's usually smiling and all that, but super serious here. But you have the reflection in the glasses, and that gives you an idea of kind of, I don't know, like a little bit idea of what it's like, or where they are. Because I was just going to have someone like the flapper like standing there, like maybe like smoking a cigarette or something, and then I thought, no, that looks like that person's about to shoot that person. So I don't know. It looks more grim. So instead, I have the flapper kind of dancing, and I don't know if does that come across in the image here.
Yeah. I mean, it takes. It's like a little bit of a double take, but
okay.
Yeah, you can tell it's a person dancing.
And so I did that. I changed the size of the hat a little bit because Chevy was wearing my fedora, and which is, my head is gargantuan. I don't know if it comes across. But I got a giant cantaloupe, apparently. Like, it's really hard to buy hats, Like, it's like, I don't know. But, so I made that smaller. The Tommy gun I actually made bigger because I did it more. The model we had was a little smaller than the actual Tommy gun. So I actually made that bigger. So it's more like the 1918, like, original version of the Tommy gun. But there we go.
Yeah. Well,
I'm saying a lot of words because I don't know. You know.
oh, you're funny. Well, Misty says looks good. Jana says I like it, and Misty said LOL. And then Barbara said the expression is gold, and Robin said, "Oh my, wow, I have a small head." And Selena Mize has joined us and says hi, John.
Hey.
So that's awesome. Yeah, I think like I know for a while you've been working quite a bit on the face, but I mean I think it is coming together, and I don't know, it's funny because the camera is almost like doesn't quite do the colors justice because of our lighting in here.
Yeah,
but
yeah, we have the yellow and the other kind of lighting. Yeah, it is more colorful. The face is.
Yeah, definitely. So
But I mean, and so I want to take photos of it because the actual photos from a camera will be way better than the web. Like the webcams say they're HD and all that, but they don't handle the color. To get like cameras, apparently the webcams that really handle color like really well, they're really expensive. So.
Well, Misty says the blue is gorgeous, and I think it's kind of interesting. One thing that caught me a little bit about the painting once you put the flapper dancer in there was that it almost like on first glance it almost has this like cat eye like feel.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a slit, you know, and then you're like, oh wait, what? And then you see the dancer and you're like, okay, cool. Like I feel like he's walked into a club and he's in the back and about to like take somebody out.
Yeah, I'm wondering, and also the background, I can change it. I can change any of it, of course,
I don't know if I would change the background.
I almost wanted like a speakeasy kind of feel, and then I thought, well, maybe having just a muted background would be good because then it could be anywhere, you know, and it could be that this mobster. I mean, what I like to think is that mobster is like the person dancing is like his mall, or it's like his you know, it's like the person that he's infatuated with, you know, and he's a hard criminal, and you know, from the streets.
Only she can make him soft.
Yeah. He's you know, and he's holding his Chicago typewriter. And he's, you know, but the only person that can soften him is the lady dancing across the room.
This old lady. Well, Nancy says it looks amazing as is, and then Robin said no change ! So
no, thank you guys.
Yeah, I really don't think I think it's almost done. I think you just have some tweaking with like the nose and face a tiny bit, but
it's funny how the little tweaks make the huge difference, though, doesn't it? I mean, and oh, and one of the things too is because the next painting I think I'm working on this series is going to be Shirley. It's either going to be you or Shirley. I'm not sure. Like I have all these paintings I want to do, and I can only do them one at a time, so it makes it hard. But the painting that I want to do with Shirley, you know, I want all this to almost tell a story in a way. So you know, you see this, and then you'll see like the flapper. You know, so then you know, you can see the different characters in the story that's kind of happening. But of course, all this is part of the reflection series where, like here, let me show you, like the elephant painting behind me that I'm working. So I can work on this painting. This is the gangster painting. I can spin around. I can work on this painting. So you know, it's good to stay busy.
Yeah, we spent all of Thursday in the studio like cleaning it up, and I'll tell you what, man, I'm a little neurotic. When John and I work very differently. And I have to have like a clean space before I can even start thinking about work, and so I don't tend to come in here a whole lot and do things outside of the web stuff. But cable management alone was like a job. And so true. You know, so it's nice now that you have that behind you, and you can kind of work on both things as paint dries. So.
Yeah, that's true. You know, hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So we have a trivia game to play.
Yes.
But I also want to talk about the technology and the face filling and all that. What do you want to do first?
Well, let me the face feeling, but let me say really fast. Nancy said my friend from the tourism office just purchased one of your prints online, so that's awesome.
Goodness. Well, thank you.
Appreciate that. Pass it on, please. Thank you. And my mom says bow tie looks a little cartoonish. The rest is so cool.
Oh.
You know.
I know what you mean.
Yes, because that's
You're
what
dead to me. No, I'm just kidding. No, I can't take criticism. No, well, I'm just kidding. You're obviously.
When you asked for my opinion earlier, I was like, it needs crisping up, and that's what I meant was like the edges need to be like crisp.
Yeah,
not
no, you're
rounded.
absolutely right. Yeah, so I mean, and that's a really good criticism. I was working with the bow tie just a little bit ago, and it does seem to, I don't know. Yeah, so I do need to work on that. So I'll work on that, and the nose, the face, the chin. I'm not happy with yet. I mean, all of it needs another pass, but
Yeah, but it's coming together. It's looking really good.
I just started it, so.
Nancy says, I love the elephants. Reading a book now where elephants are a major part of the story. So, awesome. Really? I'm curious what book. Yeah. Throw it in the comments. And Barbara says, I took a lot of your cables out with Photoshop. Yeah, it was clean and easy. Jackie, you might want to consider digital cleaning. Yeah, because that's the only kind of cleaning I'm getting done. Yeah. Digital in here.
That's a good idea. Yeah, and I'm thinking, Barbara, like you mentioned about, because we have a 20-foot white backdrop back there, and then we have like a 10-foot black one that's over it. And I think we're gonna get like a 20-foot black one, because for me, being a painter, that's kind of easy. Like I don't care what's back there. Like it doesn't matter what's in the painting. I can paint whatever I want. But with photos, having a dramatic change in black to white can really affect things. So, so I think just maybe also getting a big black one back there.
Yeah, in the stage, you've painted on that stage for years, so there's paint all over the stage.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she photoshopped. I mean, I know I have had to Photoshop paint off the stage, so
yeah, so
that's not the prettiest.
So it's just like a little stage back there. Can you see it in this photo?
Yeah,
like that. So it's just a little stage. It's only like maybe 8 feet by 4 feet or something. Something like that. So it's just a little stage, and but it helps like raise people up, or to get different levels if we need. So yeah, and it is pretty much covered. It used to be black. Now it's speckled.
Speckled.
But here, I want to fill your face.
Okay, and Barbara Brand says, I fixed it, talking about the paint. And Nancy says the book is called Leaving Time by Jodi Picoult. I will look that up. I'm curious. And then Barbara said, I fixed that too. So.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, she just had to fix it all. And the backdrop.
Yeah, okay. So that's good to know. That's a lot of work.
So come feel my face, baby.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to put you on.
Oh, gosh. I'm huge.
Jackie, here I come. Okay.
All right.
Hey guys.
Here, wait. Let me scoot back. Okay.
Hey guys.
You're really tall.
Oh, am I? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, man.
But
get down. Yeah. Hey everybody. Okay. So guys, here. So guys, let me tell you. So here's the thing. The way that I do a sitting with people is that I touch the sea, but what I'm doing though is I'm looking for different physical features. So I always start the same way, and then I work out. So let me show you like with the ear. So what I do is I break each feature down into different parts. So it's like with Jackie's ear, when she's got a Bluetooth in it. So I break the ear down in 3 parts. So you got the top, the middle, and the bottom. And then I break those into 3 parts. So you got the top, the middle top, and the bottom top. Then the top, middle, bottom, middle, and then so forth. But what this does is it makes just a little area for you to feel. And with a little bit of practice, and you get to know like an average. So there's an average that like the first part of the ear will go. And you just have to think, does it go above or below that? Or does it right on? So when I'm feeling it, I'm just feeling for that. There's also different shapes of different parts. So like, but I'll get into that in a second. So I'm just feeling it, and it's really easy. And one of the main things though is that you just want to feel very lightly. So I don't know if you've ever noticed, if you push down really hard on something, you can't feel a lot of detail. But if you lightly feel, you'll feel a lot of detail. So what I do with this is I'm looking for what I call an anchor point and a pivot point. So the anchor point is the very beginning, and that's where I start, and then I go off into where that little area, it changes, and then that's the pivot point. So I go up here, and that pivot point becomes the anchor point, and then I go to the next part where it changes. After that, I go from the bottom of the ear, then that's where the jawbone is, and then I'll feel down, making funny faces, and then you'll feel like the tip of the chin, and you go down there until if it changes, then you've got a new anchor point, and you just keep going with that. And so with the nose, so each part's a little bit different. The nose, you have the ball of the nose, but the ball of the nose, it sounds like it ought to be round. Sometimes it is, but there's other shapes too. The tip of the nose can be square, it can be rectangle, it can be just different kinds of shapes. So whenever you feel it, you just think, you just realize what shape it is. And you feel the philtrum, which is right down here. It's the little gap down here, or right there, boop. And then you can feel the your smile. And then you can feel like the nostrils. Basically what you're doing, and it's so I'm not expecting to teach anybody how to do it on this. It isn't that hard to learn. One of the things though is that it's easy to learn how to get a basic shape from that, and then once you get better at that, it's just like anything, you start adding to it. It's like okay, I've got this painting right here. Whenever I do, how old is this painting, sweetheart?
It's 2005.
2005.
No, 2007.
2007. Wow, you're so good. So this painting is like 14 years old. 14 years ago, this was as much detail as I could feel whenever I felt a face. But I've been doing this for a long time. I did it way before this. So, well, not way before it, but a while before it. So at this time, you can almost see where what I was feeling. So this is much detail as I could feel, and the face, it had to be blown up this big because that was the smallest that I could paint to be able to get that detail in there. There's no blending of color. Every color is in its separate little spot. Every little part of the geometry is in its separate little spot because at that time that was as much as I could get. And then now, we go from that. And the more that you do something, the more you practice, the better you get at it. And I'm able to paint a lot smaller, and I'm able to paint a lot more of the detail into it. But it's all going from like the anchor point, the pivot point, and doing it the same way each time. And it sounds hard. I mean, I know it sounds hard, but
ridiculous.
But it's funny though. Whenever you do it, your hands, it's almost like your hands just know. Like they just start following it. And it starts making sense to it. And that's kind of part of the painting workshops we do where we've done it with thousands of people, literally thousands of people in the last 15 years. And we'll blindfold them. They have no special training, no O&M training, no training with a white cane, no training with a guide dog. And yet, in 5 or 10 minutes, those people are painting, because we're quickly showing them how to feel and touch. So anyway, I hope that kind of makes sense. So I just wanted to run through it really quickly. But I've been doing this a whole really long time. So doing a sitting like with Chevy and Shirley, where I already know what they look like and all that, makes it where things can go a lot quicker. But
and there is another part to your whole fancy, the technology.
Technology. Ooh, okay, let me go back over.
My mom says, "Don't be fooled. Jackie loves you playing with her ears." LOL. And awesome. Then Kelly Graham says, "This is incredible and inspirational." So.
Well, thank you guys. But one of the things though that is so wonderful about all this is that this is just taking our techniques and combining it with orientation and mobility techniques, which is how people with visual impairments learn how to get around with a cane. And all that, and so it's just combining these two worlds together. And you would think on the surface that surely visual arts would be the furthest thing away from non-visual understanding, but actually it turns out they're very similar because painters for centuries, visual artists for years and years and years have been trying to think about how to understand the world around them, how to break it down in the most simplest terms, and to be able to convey that onto a two-dimensional surface. And that's exactly what orientation and mobility specialists do when they're teaching different techniques for people with visual impairments, how to get around in our 3D world. It's really more like a 2D world because you go on a floor that's flat and you just don't run into things in it. So it's funny how much things overlap. But yeah, the technology. While I get that, I know. Is there anything you want to read or You don't have to.
No. No, I will say though that like one thing that, and I don't want to discourage anybody from like attempting what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it does take practice, and I've seen like over all the artists that you've trained or worked with in workshops and stuff, them explode, especially like the visually impaired kids. It's
Kids
amazing.
are crazy. Yeah, they pick
it's
it up
amazing.
so quick.
I will say though that because I'm a sighted person and it is hard for us to wrap our heads around how you do this, that I think part of it could be that you have a photographic memory that you did before you went blind.
It's eidetic.
It's some sort of memory I don't have. So I think like that might help the fact that you can feel something and remember it when you go to the canvas.
Oh, well, it's funny because I can't remember numbers or a lot of things like that, but if I touch something and feel it, like a painting they do, I remember that painting. If I feel a person's face, I remember that face, and maybe that's because I think I could draw before I could walk, so maybe I just trained my brain for it. So that's like my special skill or something. But the wonderful thing, though, is that these techniques are really useful. You don't have to be able to do a painting with it. But one of the things I think is really cool is that you don't have to be an artist. You don't have to paint. You don't have that doesn't have to be your jam. But for a person with a visual impairment, this sort of thing can really help you understand. Like, I remember whenever my son was born, and I've been working on these techniques for a while, and I could understand what things looked like by touching them, and I knew in a really realistic way because I'd been doing paintings and could feel something and do the painting, and people go like, "Oh yeah, that does look like me. It resembles me." And so when my son was just born and he was put on Jackie's tummy, and I was feeling his face when he was taking his first breaths, I knew what his face looked like, and it occurred to me at that moment that there couldn't have been that many visually impaired people before then that knew what their baby's face looked like at that time. And I thought, right at that moment, man, I've got to write this down, or I've got to let people know, because everybody has to be able to do this. With a visual impairment, it's just it's you don't have to be able to do art. It doesn't have to be perfect. But to be able to feel it and actually understand in a visual way, I don't know. I think it helps anybody. But let me show you some stuff because I'm a huge nerd. So I'm going to show you an app. This app is called Vision. It's one of my favorite. It used to be really, really buggy. Every time I would use it would crash my phone. I'd have to restart it. Now it's a lot better. So I'm going to hold it up to this camera. So what it's doing is it's going to what's it actually showing on the camera?
Well, it's like 3 screens.
Okay.
Of you.
Oh, me? Oh, you lucky people! You get a bunch of me now. So what you're seeing on there, it's muted because it sounds crazy, but what voice does, it's called voice, and it does a lot of sound. So if you think about one of the things is sound. So if you think about, well, what it does is it takes the camera, it can take a picture, and it makes it where you can hear a picture, and it makes it where you can touch and feel a picture. So this is just one of the apps that I use, and there's lots of technology, but this is such an exciting time to be alive because this is the first time in history where people with visual impairments can understand the composition of a photograph and all that. So here, I'm gonna turn the sound on, but before I do, remember,
it sounds like chaos.
Yeah, think of a submarine. It's one of the most expensive ships that a Navy has, and yet it doesn't have a window. No one's putting their head out the side to steer it, to figure out where they're going. They're doing it all through sound, which is incredible. But you can use sound to be able to understand where something is. So what the camera's doing is taking what every camera does. It's taking an image and making it into a 2D image, right there. So what the software does is it takes that and it converts it into sound. So it's going across. So you can hear it. It's a little bit light, then more dark, then more light. But you can. That's not the best thing for me. What I use on here too is that it can also be a tactile interface. So you can take the same picture, you can take the picture, and then you can feel it.
Toggle mute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, and it talks to you. It'll tell you. It'll look at things. If it sees something, if you want it to, it'll say, I see a face. I see a dog. Blah blah blah. Or you're facing northwest. Oh, you've moved 3 degrees. It'll tell you all kinds of incredible things. It'll read stuff to you. Like if it just happens to see something like words, it'll read it to you. It'll do all this stuff. But one of my favorite is the tactile part where it'll take a photo and you can actually feel the photo on it. So if it's like a line, it'll vibrate. If it's a thick line, it'll vibrate more. If it's a thin line, it'll vibrate less. There's some other apps that I use that do that as well. One of the nice things about the voice is that it does all this stuff and it puts it in one little package, and it's free. You can just download it. There's other apps that probably do the tactile thing a little better. There's also another free thing you can get for your computer called NVDA, and one of the things about it is that you can put it on a flash drive and you stick that flash drive into a computer. Suddenly you got a talking computer, and it has a mouse functionality where you can put it on a touchscreen thing and use your finger as the mouse, or you can use your mouse. But it does the same thing the voice does, where it'll make sounds for the lightness and darkness of a pixel.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say one thing that's interesting about like the sound one is just it's hard for me to wrap my head around because it's all sounds like a bit of chaos. But the vibrating one with the lines is interesting because you'll take like a nice good high res photo and reduce it down to lines, which I mean there's a setting in Photoshop that you can do that with, and then when you run your fingers over it, you can full on like feel like basically like a drawing of it.
Yeah, it just feels like a raised line drawing.
Yeah,
like it's just,
so that's
so
really
cool. I love that.
That's a pretty cool technique.
It is. For me that works really well because I'm so used to drawing and I'm so used to using paint with different textures. So for me, that's just natural. There's other people that with visual impairment, so sound is their jam, and they're able to whistle, they're able to clap, and they can tell how big a room is. They'll say, oh, we're in a 25 by 30 foot room. The ceiling's about 14 feet tall, and they're exactly right. It's
well, crazy. I've seen video of a guy that's blind that can ride a bike because he just clicks or something.
That guy once.
It's like,
I can't think of his name right now. I can remember faces through touch, but I can't remember anybody's name. It's
pretty amazing. Well, let me say, Kelly said it's incredibly impressive. I've taken years of art classes and still can't grasp it or paint draw to save my life. Barbara says, when I was in college, my art teacher had us choose a partner, and then we sculpted a bust of them with our hands and the clay in a bag. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious what that would come out looking like.
Yeah, gosh,
mine would be a hot mess.
Be terrible. I'd be bad at that.
And Kelly said, definitely taking notes as I've had a history of retinal detachments. Good so far, but never know down the road.
Well, that's brilliant, and it's so important. I think spreading this out is really good because most people who lose their eyesight are older. So even if you don't yourself, you might know someone that does or is having trouble with that, and it's a lot of stress. It's a lot there's a lot of fear involved with that. But to know that there's actually incredible things out there. It's just, and this is just some of it, honestly. I mean, I don't want to bore you guys to death with it all.
I mean, our entire house talks to us. It's
everything around
not awesome
talks.
when you're on the scale. I'll just say that.
Our scale, she's a
rude.
British. Yeah. Oh, she's better than our last scale. Our last
Whatever.
Scale,
I don't like her.
She's like
I'm not talking. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, my mom says so true. The technology is amazing. Speaking of sonar, and then Joel Phillips joined us and said, "Ooh, the submarine metaphor is awesome." So yes, it's pretty cool that everything that's out now that you can adjust with.
I feel like Sean Connery every time I use it. Like, I want to hunt
That's
down
right,
some
that's
Red
right.
Octobers. But the weird thing with the sound thing, like that's not really my jam. And the first time I used the voice app, a couple of years ago or something, I thought, what in the world? This is crazy. How in the world would you do that? And I was just using the camera, and I was just kind of fiddling with it. And Jack walked into the room, and he walked through the room, and you could track him using the sound, which was the weirdest thing. It was like, where's your? I thought, whoa, that's so crazy. And so I thought, oh, okay, well, I guess there you go.
Well, Courtney over on YouTube says, thank you for sharing how you make art as a person with a visual impairment. I stopped making art due to my vision loss, but hearing your story inspired me to dive back into art. So awesome. I would love to, if you do, share it if you'd like. I'd love to describe it to John. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. You know, and I've said this before, but whenever I started again, because I did art before, just like you did, but the best thing that I ever did and the nicest thing I ever did to myself was that I said I wouldn't judge anything I did for a year. Like, I gave myself a year to grow, to find new ways of doing it, because the way that you're going to make art is probably different than the way you did before. But there's so much out there, and one of the wonderful things about art is that it's all about what you can do. So there's so many different types of art. There's so many different ways to get to the same place. You know, even if you take a different route. You know, it's like, you know, you gotta use that life GPS or rerouting, but eventually you get there. So, but not judging makes it a much more enjoyable journey, and it seems like you get there a lot quicker. But then, I don't know, that's what helped me.
Right on, man.
Well, guys, I know it's getting late. I know that we're gonna have to go pretty soon. Oh, you know what? We didn't do any questions.
Well, are you gonna show this next week? Like, at least the finished product, like it's done?
Yeah, for sure.
Because we could do the questions next week because they're gangsta related.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. So you can start studying now.
Nice. I'm gonna need it. Yeah. So I guess So well, sorry guys. I guess we'll play that game next week. Maybe we'll have 2 games next week. Who knows?
2 chances of art.
That sounds good. But guys, I want to thank y'all so much for, I don't know, without you guys, my art wouldn't even be possible. You know, I do it to connect with people, and I've just been able to connect with some of the most amazing people. So thank you guys for sticking in and listening to us rant tonight.
Heck yeah, man. Thanks for tuning in. Always like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Huge shout out to Robin, Amanda Lee, Barbara, and Clarice. You guys for getting in on the creative action was a blast. So I really appreciate it. And Misty says, thank you for sharing. And Steve Evans joined us, says, my cat walks across my scale in the middle of the night. Nothing like hearing hello, I'm ready. That's hilarious because that's what our scale does. No, we don't have animals walking across it, but
hello,
I'm always like, oh, that woman.
Yeah, what is that? Do you remember that table that your mom bought for Jack, I think?
Oh, it was like the play thing, and it was a bee thing. It was like all about bees.
Yeah, but it would say this creepy line. It
Dude.
Wasn't creepy, but in the middle, there's this weird voice, and it was like, you know, I'm waiting or something. Like,
that was.
It would wait for like 3 hours, and then suddenly it would
And
like,
Jack, it was
I'm
like
behind you waiting.
It was it was like a jumper, like a little play thing that Jack would jump in, and no, Jack would not have been in it for a good hour or 2, and all of a sudden it would start talking to you. That thing was creepy.
Oh yeah, that was a.
So, well, Joel says, love y'all. I click the notification so I see when you're on next. Let us know how best to share with others. I know several people that will enjoy this. Thanks so much. I mean,
thank you.
Gosh, share, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I mean,
yeah,
any way you want.
Oh, and the whole sitting thing. So the photos from that are going to our what we call our DAM group. It's our Jurassic Art members. So which is a Facebook group. So if you want to join that. We'll have a lot of the setting stuff put there, and our Patreon. I'm gonna post it all over that thing. So.
Well, and Robin says thank you. We had an amazing time. Let us know when the next one is for sure.
Oh, thanks, Robin.
Thanks so much, guys, and I guess we'll see you Tuesday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh, you know what? I do this each time.
Do it again.
Bye, guys, for real now.
They just